screwing with me!
Building your studio is a nice, fulfilling experience, but at the same time it can be pretty frustrating as well. There are a lot of things to keep an eye on, and also you have to wrap your head around some quite difficult to grasp concepts like transmission losses, absorption coefficients, diffusion bandwidths, and so on.
Today, we're trying to clarify the 5 most basic concepts that go into the designing of a project studio, like 1. Soundproofing with mass and space.
2. Soundproofing with ceiling.
3. Soundproofing with mechanical decoupling.
4. Acoustic treatment.
And 5. Okay, it doesn't have to be such a pain in the ass if you design it step by step. Let's go! Soundproofing rule number 1. Mass equals negative dB. Its doubling results in roughly 6 dB of extra loss, but as you will quickly discover, this will become rapidly inefficient and expensive, so space comes to save the day.
Because the more space there is between two soundproofing barriers, the higher the sound reduction will be. And the best part?
It's free!
Yeah, kind of, if you consider the real estate price, but you get the idea. Moreover, space will perform better if it is lined with sound-absorbing materials.
2. A common soundproofing culprit is the air tightness of a room, or to put it better, the lack of it. It especially affects the upper end of the spectrum, because these wavelengths are comparable with the holes in the room. Perfect air tightness is hard to achieve.
Vulnerable places to look out for are seams between drywall panels, floor wall ceiling joints, perforated panels, door and window sills, keyholes, vents and ducts, fixture holes, flush-mounted speakers, and finally cableways. Acoustic caulk, rubble seals, and for larger openings, gypsum and cement are your weapons to win this battle!
3. One last critical part of any soundproofing construction is the mechanical decoupling from its carrier structure to eliminate structure-borne noise. That is the noise generated by impacts like footsteps, bass drums, or anything that vibrates, has a significant mass and is connected to any rigid surface of the structure, like speakers.
The transmission of such noises can be reduced either by making contact points minuscule, thus increasing impedance, or more commonly by using elastic materials. In most cases, the whole room will be floated on top of an elastic layer made from rubber or closed-cell foam, and the weight of the entire room should be considered to work these materials in their optimum range.
Springs are also used for the same application, but are a bit more difficult to work with. A more budget solution is to build separate risers for problematic sources like drums or bass speakers. This can be quite effective if they're built properly.
4. Acoustics is an entire subject on its own. Try to maintain a uniform reverberation across the frequency spectrum. A reverberation time of about 0.3 seconds is a rough standard. Most of the time the problem lies in the bass region, which is the most difficult to control. So, the most common way to control them is by placing fibrous corner bass traps, the bigger the better, and avoid large parallel surfaces that will result in flatter echoes.
The greater the angle difference between opposite walls, the lower the affected frequency will be. Diffuse sound as much as possible by placing diffusers, rough surfaces, or at least distribute the absorptive materials uniformly. Lastly, place absorption where the direct reflections from the speaker will be on the sidewalls, ceiling, and the wall behind the speakers.
5. It might seem obvious, but attention to details is a key to successful studio construction. Just one screw in the wrong place can compromise thousands of euros worth of soundproofing. Leaving one small gap in the structure can make the difference between neighbors giving you a hard time or you working unobstructed.
The room should be perfectly symmetrical for accurate stereo reproduction or even recording. Minor stuff like door seals and handles can have great impact on your day-to-day interaction with the space. Things like lights, power, furniture, ventilation, and many more should not be overlooked.
Maybe we will discuss them in a future episode. As for now, we hope these tips gave you a rough idea of how to plan and execute your studio construction. Until we come up with more audio-related tips, I am Bill.
And I'm George, and don't drop the mic. And even keep it away from dust, because with all that construction, I'm sure there will be a lot of it. And please subscribe to help our construction of videos. Oh.
Μας. Κάπως έτσι. Δεν ξέρω.